What's good, everyone? Today we're talking the basics of shipping. So I get asked a lot about everything about shipping. So if you are just getting started selling stuff online, whether it's on eBay, whether it's stuff around the house, whether it's going to thrift stores and flipping things, or just trying to clear up some space, or maybe you're a garage sailor, this is the basics for you. We're not going to go too in depth, but enough to get you started on the basics. A lot of the common questions I get. So there'll definitely be follow-ons to this, but stay tuned for some very good info. So to begin, we're going to talk about the types. We're only going to be talking about domestic shipping, so shipping within the United States, and we're only talking about USPS today. We're keeping it very short and simple. So if you've ever been at the post office and you see that person walks right past you, you're waiting in line, they just drop stuff on the counter, and you're like, how the heck they skipped the line? We're setting you up to get you to be that person. We don't want you waiting in line anymore. Skip the line, save your time, and also save some money while you're at it. So to begin, we're going to talk about deciding how to ship it. So there's a lot of different methods. The biggest distinction we're going to start out with is kind of first class mail versus priority mail. So first class mail, think of the maybe cheapest and simplest way. It's not going to be the fastest way to get something to someone, but more often than not, it's going to be your cheapest. With this, you're going to need your own shipping supplies. So whether you are buying your own, any number of packages like these kind of things, or if you're only shipping a few things, I'm a huge fan of recycling. So almost everyone, whether you're buying on Amazon, eBay, whatever, keep those packages around. Odds are you can reuse those to ship your stuff. The reason I have some of these is I ship some pretty common size items frequently. So at a certain point, you got to invest in that to save yourself some time. So first class mail is going to be cheapest. We're talking up to 1 pound. So again, we're thinking weight in this time. We're going to talk about volume as well. Volume doesn't matter as much for this as long as we're going up to 1 pound. Don't quote me, but there is a size limit at a certain point, but good luck finding something that big that still only weighs 1 pound. So using any of these, I'll use these for small items, cards. I used to make a lot of jewelry, ship a lot of jewelry in this, ship thousands of items through first class mail. You probably hear horror stories, but overall great, efficient. Lately a lot more delays, but you can pretty much count on it. A lot of items that are maybe on the cheaper side, I tend to go that route. There's no insurance with first class mail, so going that way, you're kind of taking a risk, but if it's a low cost item, it's a calculated risk at that. Priority mail is kind of this other beast, and then we're going to talk about some of the other ones. So priority mail comes with some insurance. I think it's up to $50, but there's two distinctions here. So priority mail, we're talking about flat rate, which is a huge opportunity, and we'll explain why. A huge opportunity that a lot of people overlook. Saves you time, money, materials. And then there's just regular priority, which you're going to either supply your own box or use one of theirs. So to start with, priority flat rate. Rate mail is one of my favorites because you can get all the supplies from the post office for free. Fantastic resource. Use it, abuse it. There's several different sizes. So starting here, you got the small flat rate box. You can kind of see how small it is. Fits a good amount of items, but obviously you got to know what you got. That goes into a medium and a large flat rate box. For those, it's volume based, so it doesn't matter how much weight you can fit in that. Whatever fits ships. I think that's their motto for those. So a lot of people with heavy items, if it's compact, can use that and really cut down on the shipping, and you kind of have that fixed amount. You know how much it's going to cost. Other things, like you see this one here, this is the shoe box. So there's other boxes you can get for free as well. These are not flat rate, so that means you're going to be paying by the weight. So for those, I tend to try, the shoebox is fantastic. Try and keep it under 2 pounds, and it's going to actually be more cost effective than the flat rate boxes or the padded. This is a flat rate padded envelope as well. So it's a lot of trial and error. You're not going to learn this overnight, but understanding the options that are out there is critical. It doesn't mean you don't have to, you can't put things that weigh more than 2 pounds in there. You can, but more often than not, it's going to be more economic to put it in that flat rate box to cut back on cost. So that's the big distinction there. use those resources. You can also, whether you go walk into the post office, pick up those boxes, or you can order them online at the post office website, USPS.com, I think. Awesome way to deliver right to your house. Some other less frequently used or less known, so media mail. So for instance, shipping this book, I've got one of these pretty flat packages. I'll put it in here, and this will weigh just under a pound. I can ship that because it is media, and you can go on the site to understand what is media. There's certain things that don't qualify. I want to say video games is where it crosses over, but movies, books, stuff like that, magazines, not sure where those fall. But you can ship those with media mail, which is much, much cheaper. So for that up to a pound, we're talking like $3.33, whereas that pound first class mail might be $5 or $6. So if you have media, make sure you're using media mail. Harder to find that button depending on where you're shipping. Another one is parcel select. So once we're going over that 1 pound, and for whatever reason you don't want to use priority mail, maybe it's cost, parcel select again is going to be by weight and dimension. So there's a whole tiered thing there as you size up with the size of the box as well as the weight of the box. Those are the main ones. If you're interested in bigger items and stuff like that, we're going to be talking more about UPS and FedEx, which we can do in a different video. We're sticking to the basics here. This is probably about the limit of the size box, but recycle those materials. Some other materials I want to focus on of what kind of stuff you need. So obviously we talked about these free boxes. We're talking about these boxes you may be able to buy yourself. Also, tape gun. Tape gun's important. Save yourself time and effort. Obviously, scissors. One big thing that is time saver is a scale. Get yourself a postal scale up to 5-10 pounds. Anything over that, I tend to just use the bathroom scale. You can get a fancier 50-pound scale for your desktop if you really want. And the number one item that has saved me the most time, I don't know why I didn't buy this sooner, bought this several years ago, and I can't even begin to figure out how many hours of time I wasted printing shipping labels, cutting them out by paper, and taping them on to packages. Get a thermal printer. 4x6 labels, they look like this. They print out, come straight out of here. You can print massive amounts, pop them on. Relatively cheap. You can buy them used, not too bad. I think I dropped $200 on it at the time. I hope they're much cheaper than that now. No, there's several brands, so I'm not going to plug any one in particular. For those that know, can obviously tell which one I'm using. Other than that, other materials, again, recycle. So if you got a box in the mail, it looks like this, keep it. You never know. Obviously, if you got the space when you might need it. Also keep all that packaging supply. So that dunnage or paper, if you got bubbles that come in or these air pillows, keep those on hand. You want to make sure you're packaging these items so they don't break. I have plenty of horror stories of I thought I packaged something well, I learned something terrible, and then I'm out $40-50 for an item that I thought I took extra care about. So learn, always overdo it is my recommendation. If you think it's secure, see if you can make it even more secure. If you are shipping a ton, again, invest in like a larger roll of bubble wrap or some pretty standard size boxes and stuff like that. One of the last things here is where you're going. So if you're a beginner, whether you're selling on eBay or just selling some stuff around the house on a different platform, use the shipping labels in that platform. So buy the shipping labels through eBay. There's plenty of other sites we can talk about on another video, but use those resources. You're going to be paying a discounted price versus going into the post office. And again, I don't want you waiting in line at the post office. Save yourself the time. So when you show up with all the stuff already printed, you just drop it off on the counter. Even better, a lot of people don't realize this, you can schedule a pickup. If you don't even want to leave the house, we're in COVID times, even better, especially when you're selling smaller items. So when I used to have 5-10 of these going out a day instead of all these different size boxes, I wouldn't mind leaving it in the mailbox for the carrier. You can leave it there or schedule a pickup and they'll come pick it up. please don't abuse your mailman. Don't just drop a bunch of boxes off in front of your house and expect them to pick it up. They plan their routes based on where they park and all that, so don't drop a whole bunch of stuff without them expecting it. You want to have that good relationship. That's a majority of it. Stay tuned for more. We're going to go more in depth, but I want to keep it pretty short for basics. Just to go through some pretty simple recap tips and lessons learned. Again, make sure you're buying those labels online. Use those free resources. Get those free boxes from USPS. Order them for free online. Save those boxes you get elsewhere. Use those resources. Cut back on your cost. And probably last but not least, planning is the biggest thing. So as you're understanding the different sizes, the different weights, and the different prices, that's going to make you a better seller. So understand that this box is going to cost you $8. Don't quote me on that. It's give or take $1. Can help you plan how you're going to price that item. A lot of people, and again, this is another video, free shipping versus having the buyer pay for shipping. Understanding how much it costs is going to be that game changer. Almost every seller at some point is going to screw up, and I've shipped thousands of items. I continue to have a lesson learned once in a blue moon. At some point, what you want to avoid, and hopefully you can avoid it, is you sell something, and usually this happens with a lower cost item, where once you go to actually pay for the shipping and all of that, you ended up paying more than the person paid you, and you're literally paying them to take your item. I want you to avoid that. I want you to actually make money. So let me know what other questions you might have. Again, this was a basic overview. We're going to do a lot more of these little mini series on hot topics. We'll go more in depth on different platforms, eBay versus Etsy versus Amazon. But I really want to give you a very basic overview of these things. So hopefully that's useful. If you got questions on where you can find some of these things, let me know. I feel like I've collected a ton over the time, not just of information, but a ton of stuff. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for stopping by. More storage finds and one man's trash to come. So peace.